What is up, y'all? Happy what whatever day it is today. I think we're all kind of in the same boat in that regard. And I've had a bit of an interesting day today that I want to share quickly with y'all and what I've learned from it. One of the areas I'm really have been spending a lot of time on for personal growth and personal exploration has really been improving my emotional intelligence. I spent a lot of time over the last couple of years working on mindset and learning everything in that world about how to survive and build a strong mindset. And I really think the second part is about emotional intelligence. I think mindset and mental intelligence and mental growth is half of it, and I think the other half of personal development really comes down to emotional intelligence and emotional growth. And that's an area that really I've had to dig into just based on, I think, being a dude, how I was raised in terms of kind of how I express myself and just a million other things. So it's an area that I've improved a million times compared to where I once was, but still an area that I'm focusing on. And today I really had an interesting realization where I have all of the tools to be successful when it comes to being emotionally intelligent. And I have the resources, I know what I have to do, and now it's just a matter of implementing them and becoming self-aware of when to use them. And I'm pretty good at it. Most days I'm able to recognize my triggers and notice when something sets me off or I start feeling a certain way, and I'm able to kind of handle myself in a lot of cases. Of course, none of us can remove triggers from our lives or control our emotions, but we are able to manage them, and it's just something that's very important for me to learn how to do. It's something I've gotten a lot better at, but I do still notice these triggers when they come up sometimes. And today, which still does happen once in a while, is they do catch me and I react, and as soon as I react, I feel like I kind of lost, because this is an area that I'm improving, but at the same time knowing it is an area that I am working on. And something had triggered me today, and then rather than kind of pay attention to what it all is, I reacted, and I learned my lesson right away. I said, okay, this is kind of lesson learned, moving forward. And then, interesting enough, something else happened to me at the same time. And this really, when the second thing happened, and there's a lot going on in all of our lives. We're a lot more stressed than we are usually. We're a lot more on edge, in my personal world as well. That we're all kind of on edge. So more so now than ever, we all need to be more compassionate with ourselves and just understanding with everyone around us as well. But when the second thing happened today, I noticed something clicked, and it was actually a lesson that I had learned a long time ago. That was one of the most important lessons that I had ever learned. And I want to share it with you guys because it's extremely powerful, and it really brought into light everything that I had learned today. So even though I failed when it came to how I had reacted to these situations occurring, right away I did learn from my mistakes and learned how to improve moving forward. But I also regained awareness of this very important lesson. And this lesson is extremely important, and I think it could be for you too, because essentially every time I get upset about something, this can typically be the reason for why I get upset. And what that is when I'm in a relationship with someone, or whatever it be, a business relationship, or I'm having a conversation and something happens where I feel like the person on the other side didn't show up the way they were supposed to, or didn't hold their end of the bargain, so to speak, something in that realm. And what it comes down to is that I feel that my what's the word I'm looking for here now? This is a good time to have this problem come up. expectations. It comes down to me feeling like that someone didn't meet my expectations. And this is usually always the problem on some level for if I get upset about something or with someone, is that something had happened where I felt like my expectations did not get met. And this is extremely powerful. And I want you to think a little bit about this, about when you get upset or the last time you got upset. See if this proves true for yourself as well, because I do feel like it's true for a lot of us, that a lot of the times where we're unhappy or something sets us off or we get upset, the result of it is because someone didn't meet the expectations that we had set for them. Now, you may, I guess, first of all, the cure for this and the way to change the world, and I'm sure you've heard this before, is it's impossible to change the world externally. So the best thing we can do is change our world internally. And the best way to do that is to manage our expectations that we have for other people. Because if our expectations are too high, we're always going to be let down. Now, I know the counter argument to this in a lot of cases is, well, maybe I shouldn't have to, maybe it really isn't fair for what had happened on their side of things, or maybe I very well should be allowed to, maybe it's obvious for why my expectations weren't met. But the problem is, it's not about whether things are fair or whether you're right or you're wrong. It's about your well-being and a high quality of life. And if we just go through life and we're upset about everything because it was someone else's fault, even if it was their fault and it was something, just going through life, we're not going to be living a good quality of life. So we want to be doing these things for ourselves. So if something happens to us and we get upset, if we look at it, we say, is this because my expectations were too high? And if so, then we can focus on getting better at managing our expectations. And who knows what's going on in the other person's world at the same time, where they might, we don't know, are we making assumptions, or do we not know the whole story for why someone might act a certain way, or whatever it might be. But whatever it is, changing another person, trying to control other people is impossible. The only thing we can really do is we can control ourselves and how we react to situations. And I think managing our expectations is one of the most important ways of doing this. And this is just simply when an event happens and you're unhappy about it and you notice that your expectations weren't met, to just simply have that conversation with yourself. When I notice emotional triggers, there's a few things I do in terms of the Lazarus technique or the stop technique, where I just give myself a chance to stop, take a breath, put everything into perspective and really see where I'm at and manage myself and my own personal emotions. Because whether or not you were right, or, if your expectations should have been met, that's not going to change the fact that you don't feel good about the situation. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to stress, it's our heart attack. So we need to manage what we can on our side of things to control what we can control. And we can't control our emotions. We can't control we can't control other people, but we can manage them and become more aware of them. And I just think this is an extremely powerful thing. So although I blew it in the sense, of today, where I did let one of these triggers catch me, and I didn't fully blow up, but I didn't respond in a way that I wanted to. And as soon as I do, I'm hard on myself for just knowing that that's not the type of person I want to be. But on the bright side of things, it did bring me back to really remember this important lesson. And I've now added it to one of my intentions for the day, of just becoming aware of what my expectations are and just managing those and controlling what I am able to control to live a better quality of life for myself. So this emotional learning and emotional intelligence, it's an ongoing thing. It's an area that I do notice myself improving drastically, and just, we all have areas we need to focus on, and, areas that we can improve, and we always want to be growing and getting better, and these are great ways to do it. So anyways, see if that's true for your own life. When you go through and something upsets you, just see, okay, is it a matter of my expectations not being met? And then what can I do to be more reasonable with my expectations or whatnot? Anyways, that's it. Talk to you later. Peace.